been a really long time since I've done anything with this channel. I want to change that. I was posting a lot of videos before. Turns out that I got tired of it primarily because recording, editing just was making miserable. So talked to some friends and they encouraged me to start again. What one of my friends told me to do was simplify it. Focus less on editing it and focus just on getting the video created and out, and develop my skills in editing over time. And I thought that was an excellent idea. So this is a very simple setup. I have a camera. Top of the camera I have a quality microphone, I think. We're just gonna run with this. If it sounds terrible, leave a comment and I'll use a lavalier mic going forward, but my goal is to simplify this process down to the absolute minimum and get it so I can set up quickly, create a video quickly, and break down quickly. That's the goal. Don't know if I'll achieve it. But to start this project, we're going to be doing the upper and lower, we're gluing the upper and lower rings to my R2D2 that I had been wanting to start and finish. And this goes back to the simplification process. I'll talk about that as I go here. But I've got my epoxy here. Yes, I should be wearing gloves, but I don't have any. But I have the epoxy here and the pieces I need, and we're just going to assemble them. I'll create a quick edit afterwards and we'll get going. Let me focus you in on this and we'll move on. Okay, I know you can't see my face, but I wanted to get a close-up of what I'm doing here. So we've got all the pieces for the upper ring here. I've read the instructions as to how they go together. The upper ring is clockwise. I have some 5-minute epoxy here. I'll need to cut the lids off these. And we're gonna get going on this. Not gonna complicate it at all. So this video will be the upper and lower ring. There's going to be a lot of videos for this, so don't think I'm going nuts here. The printers behind me are printing the other pieces to the dome right now, and then we'll move on to the body. Largely this will be nothing more than a prototype. Ooh, not good. And what I mean by a prototype is I'm using PLA, ABS, any plastic pieces I have around. Figure out how strong they need to be. Go, we're gonna add a little bit of, now I'm gonna make this in really small parts on a paper plate. I'm literally putting something smaller than a dime size down because I know it's 5 minutes epoxy, and I want to make sure that I don't mix so much that I can't. I'm not going to. I might focus in on the video, but I want to make sure that historically I've overmade this stuff and I end up throwing a ton of it out. And to be frankly honest, I just moved. So I am on a tight budget right now. So I'm going to try using clamps on this ring to hold it together. I'm hoping this works. So I put pressure down on it and I'm going to clamp it in. So my goal with using this hardboard with packing tape on it is to minimize the opportunity for it to stick. Okay, so that's the first piece together. Project, as far as I'm concerned going forward, is to enjoy making and focus less on the, now, is it perfect, is it right? Now, if this works out and I have fun doing it and the model's good, and I think it will be, I will of course, one, join his Patreon, but you can fully expect me to rebuild a new one. And I'm just making sure that I don't have anything sticking up too much. Alright, so that's done for now. It's 5-minute epoxy. I know it's going to set pretty quick, but I think... Alright, I finished the first ring, and to finish it off, I let the epoxy set for about 30 minutes and I pulled the clamps off, and then I've let it sit overnight, so about 8 or 9 hours. And now it's nice and solidly put together. I'm not putting too much strain on it. I don't want it to pop loose. There are some gaps you can see in it. All in all, I think that's exactly what I expected. So now we move on to the lower ring. So I'm going to set this one aside, put it back up over there, and we'll get this one ready to go. According to the instructions, this goes counterclockwise. So the pieces are all numbered. Okay, so here are all the parts. You're zoomed in. Now I probably should set the camera up to be used off of the... I'm going to adhere to the same thing I did before. I'm going to use small amounts of epoxy, just enough to do 1 or 2 pieces, clamp them, and then move on. I don't want to overdo it, and I don't want to use up a bunch of epoxy. This is the lower ring. It is fully assembled now, so it is ready to go, except the glue has to dry. This is the other ring that'll go on top of it. I'm not sure what orientation it'll go on top of, so I'm going to give it about a half hour to set. Even though it says 5 minutes, I like to give it that extra time. Then I'm going to pull the clamps off, and then I'll let it sit for another, well, overnight most likely. Then I'll stack the two on top of each other and come back and give you kind of a wrap up. Got the bottom ring glued together. Got the top ring glued together. I'm not going to attach the two like this yet, the upper and lower rings, only because I want to get the dome done and get it going. So the rings have been assembled, came out pretty well. Happy with the way it's moving along. A lot of clamps here. The next phase is the dome. And I have pretty much all these pieces printed except for the final piece of this. This is giving me some real headaches. I've had a number of failed prints and now the print nozzle's clogged. Either way, this is the next one up. And it doesn't look great, but oh well. I'm not looking for complete print quality here, just looking to move forward. ABS parts are doing all right, but still got some tuning on that printer to get as well. Either way, we're moving along. Hopefully, next few days, I'll get the dome assembled and you can see how that's coming along. After the dome is up, we'll attach it to the rings, put some of the electronics and do a few of those projects just for something different. And then we'll continue by moving on to doing things with the body.